Baldwin Park. El alcalde Ricardo Pacheco está acusado de conceder contratos a empresas con las cuales él trabaja en otro municipio. Así es, Viviana Serrade tiene todas las versiones de este conflicto. Nos vamos con Viviana.
Why? Because you knew that was no, Pacheco. It's not about that. It's about doing the right thing for our city.
El concejal Pacheco no fue bien recibido a la Junta del Cabildo.
Lo que me está acusando no es cierto. Dice muchas cosas que son mentiras.
Daniel Damián, asesor financiero y residente de Baldwin Park, dice tener pruebas en contra del concejal Ricardo Pacheco por favorecer a compañías como EYE Inc., con las que tiene vínculos.
Enero 20 del 2016, él votó para que se le diera un contrato a Gentry Brothers Incorporated en la cantidad de $1,505,870.
Nos enseñó 3 facturas de febrero, marzo y abril donde consta el nombre de Pacheco y la empresa mencionada anteriormente.
Si él está inspeccionando el trabajo de estas dos corporaciones en el sur del monte, ¿por qué es que está votando él para darles al favor los contratos en nuestra ciudad?
Tras las acusaciones, Pacheco se defendió diciendo que se trataba de una cuestión política.
Aquí está su nombre, Danny Damian y Ricardo Pacheco, y yo le gané. Es candidato que quiere correr otra vez y está diciendo mucha información que no es cierto para él ganar confianza con los votos de la comunidad.
Y que las facturas existen, pero no reflejan la realidad.
Este señor tiene muchos papeles que no está diciendo la verdad. Quiere confundir a la gente con sus documentos.
Damián señaló que no descansará hasta que se haga una investigación exhaustiva y que los responsables de robar dinero de la ciudad terminen tras las rejas. Desde Baldwin Park, Viviana Serrade, Noticias 62. Tu ciudad, tu equipo.
Good evening, Ken Woods. I'm a very concerned citizen. Nice to see everybody's here. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, 3 times now you have brought up this issue of council members not doing their homework and wasting precious council time discussing issues. You talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about wasting time talking. Here's my suggestion to you. Lean back in your chair. Get real comfortable. Put your iPhone on vibrate. And when Councilman Pacheco needs your vote to give Sid Masabi more money, he'll text you. Councilman Pacheco, you know you're a lot of things. But after your rude and unprofessional behavior these last couple of meetings toward our 2 council members, Baca and Rubio, there is one thing you are not. You are not a gentleman. Mayor Lozano, I recall a few meetings back, you stated you would defend all female members of this council. Well, that didn't last very long, did it? And you continue to vote with your 2 cohorts, who, by the way, don't know right from wrong. You vote in favor of any item they bring forward, no matter how it affects our tax-paying citizens. In my opinion, you are a coward. Thank you.
I'm going to tell a story about corruption, a story of Ricardo Pacheco. The story starts in the beginning year of 2014, about mid-year. Pacheco secures a job with South El Monte from his buddy, the now convicted mayor, of bribery charges. In turn, Ricardo Pacheco gets the mayor's daughter from South El Monte a job through Miss Hernandez over in Parks and Rec. This is the mayor's daughter, Nina. Pacheco is now working with his buddy Masabi in South El Monte. Sid Masabi raking in the money over there. They were surprised when I was over there. I know you've all seen the video. Over $300,000 in a small little community of 20,000 people. Really amazing. Along with this thing in South El Monte, Pacheco enters into deals with Gentry Brothers Incorporated doing capital improvements for street paving. Halfway through 2014, Pacheco takes one of the owners, Wayne Gentry of Gentry Brothers, and convinces him to have his sons open up 2 corporations, one in Upland, one in Rancho Cucamonga. They call it Gentry General Engineering Incorporated. Now with the new company, Gentry General Engineering Incorporated, who filed incorporation papers around April 2015, submitted a bid to paving streets here in Baldwin Park. This company is less than a year old and barely had any kind of experience, period. With the help of the buddy Pacheco, they submit a ridiculously low bid by over $100,000 under everybody else that was a competent company. With Pacheco's help, the sons Gentry Brothers Incorporated got the bid, and now what's going to happen is they'll sublet to Dad's company to do the paving. Pacheco was given the consulting fee for settling the deal up in Baldwin Park and shared with Lozano and Garcia. These are how our corrupt city officials, the 3 amigos, get their money, besides getting paid their regular pay. Pacheco is now being investigated by South El Monte also for conflict of interest now, because it could cost the city of South El Monte state and federal funding for the conflict of interest, which is going to be investigated over here.
All right, go ahead. Hi, Danny Damien, resident. I'm here to ask questions again. You guys have seen me up here several times, and I have not had any of our questions answered. Now, I provided you guys copies here. What you have in front of you are 3 invoices from infrastructure engineers known as Advanced Applied Engineering and AAE Incorporated to the city of South El Monte. First invoice dated 29th of February 2016. Description reads, CIP project engineer. Finalized contract documents and delivered to Gentry Brothers, 2-1 and 2-4, meet with Ricardo Pacheco to discuss CM work plan. Second invoice dated 31st of March 2016. Also from infrastructures to South El Monte. Description reads, capital improvement project, site visit and coordinate with Gentry Brothers and Ricardo Pacheco. Coordinate notice to residents and prepared status report. Third invoice you have is from April 30th of 2016. This is also a capital improvement project to the site visit with Gentry Brothers and Ricardo Pacheco, prepare weekly status report, and reviewed approved invoice number 1 and 2, provide certified payroll to IRMA, and investigate ADA access at all driveways. The third page that you have there, or fourth, is from Transparent California, and that shows that Ricardo Pacheco is an employee. He's a part-time project administrator in the city of South El Monte. This was from 2015. The last page you have is the minutes from the January 20th, 2016 council meeting here to award the contract to Gentry Brothers Incorporated in the amount of $1,505,870. And as you can see, Ricardo Pacheco voted yes on this. My question is, if he is an employee in the city of South El Monte, and he's he's overseeing these projects, and he's on these invoices with infrastructure engineering, overseeing, I don't know if it's overseeing Gentry Brothers Incorporated, why is he not abstaining himself from awarding these contracts to these contractors in our city where he is the councilman? These are questions that we want answers, because now we know why you guys are voting the way you're voting. And you guys are misspending our taxpayer money. We don't want the same thing to happen that happened in 2003 in Southgate, where he had to resign and had a severance of $95,000 right before everyone ended up in jail. This needs to be investigated. We need this investigated because this is not a political issue. This is about doing what's right for each and every single resident of this city. You can't choose and pick who you want to represent. There's approximately 80,000 of us here, and you guys need to represent each and every one of us the same. So when we come up here and ask questions about why our taxpayer money is being given to these corporations, we want answers. We don't want to be directed to the directors. They're not the ones making these decisions. You guys are. You guys were elected as the council members and as the mayor, and we want you to answer all of our questions. We're all here. Answer our questions, please. Thank you.
I know some of you have seen and heard that there are a lot of negative things being said out there about me with using social media, and I want you to know that all these allegations are all completely false. They're being spread by my political opponents, including Danny Damien, who ran against me in the last election and lost, and now he's trying to turn me down with a lot of his false allegations. Mr. Damien is working in support, unfortunately, with my political opponents, Susan Rubio and Cruz Baca. These are all just political allegations designed to ruin my reputation because they could not beat me in the election box. And I invite all of you, if you want any questions. Now, let me just tell you something, okay? Each of these individuals that I'm looking at here, we have Danny Damien in the back, Roman Rodriguez, and all these ran against myself and Councilwoman Garcia. Roman lost really bad in that election, and so did Danny Damien. So now that elections are coming up, they're all coming out here and making all these false allegations. And I know that a lot of you support those guys, so you're all out here making false allegations on the media and so forth. Okay, so you wanted answers today. You heard from one of the owners of the company that have no in any way connected with them. Also, in this here invoice, it's being misread. The staff from AAE met with the employee, myself, to discuss some of the projects. And you wanted an answer, and that's the answer. But you have, I have Danny Damien and Greg Tuttle, of course, Roman Rodriguez, making false allegations that there's this relationship. There is not a relationship. And that somehow I manipulated a bid between Gentry Brothers and the other organizations, all totally false. Believe me, if that had occurred, if that had happened, one of the other companies would have objected, and there was no objection to that. The process is run. It's an open bid process. Everybody submits their bid the same day, and then it's forwarded. You can talk to the Public Works Director on how any of the bids work. So people are out there just because they know that a lot of people don't know how the system works. They're just making false allegations. So I just think that that's wrong. I think I welcome all of you to give me a call. We'll sit down and we'll answer some of these questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilor. Yes. Excuse me. Councilmember, Vice Mayor, I want to hear this.
And is mentally abusing both of us to the point we are in fear of our lives. And yes, this was dated several years ago in 2003, but it also speaks to the character of the individuals who are making the comments. And I won't even go into the multiple pages that follow. But again, I just want us to, really look and really know who we're associating with, and just really, look to the core as to what your concerns are and how you should proceed. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes.
I'm sorry, I just have to. It's funny how when allegations are made towards Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, Mayor Lozano, and Pacheco, they're allegations and they're insulting. However, Councilmember Rubio and myself have been up here on the dais when you have accused us, and Pacheco has accused us, of shaking down people to get funds or campaign money for Blanca Rubio's assembly race. So it's okay for you to do it without proof. I have yet to see a developer or anyone that I supposedly shook down for campaign contributions. So it's okay for you to do it and throw all these allegations at us, including Mayor Lozano, who made a comment earlier about a personal lawsuit that I have with my family. It's no secret, Mayor. You don't have to repeat it to the newspapers and everyone. Everyone knows. The police department knows. Everyone knows. They've been to my home about the lawsuit with my brother Tony and my sister Alice. It's not a secret. I haven't hidden it. It's out there for public records for everybody to see that we've been going to the Superior Court back and forth. The proof is in the pudding. Just like I tell everyone else, they've yet to prove those allegations. So if you keep repeating it to people, that's fine with me. But if that's the only thing you can come up with, that's too bad. After all these years of being the mayor in Baldwin Park, and I say that, yes, we are investigating this. There is proof. I spoke to some of the council members. And also some of the staff in South El Monte. They said they had a conversation with Councilmember Pacheco, and I believe with you as well, Mayor Lozano. I don't remember, but I believe that they referred that they had a conversation with you. They are very concerned. They are very concerned about the conflict of interest because these monies that were received from the city of South El Monte were federal funds. They believe that they will have to pay back up to $600,000 because there is a conflict of interest because Ricardo Pacheco, our council member, was hired by them and never told them that they were involved with Gentry Brothers and with Applied Engineering.
Wow, wow. Councilman, allow her to speak, please. Councilmember Sulubi.
I just want to speak to 2 points. You know, I did hear Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco speak about a process, the bidding process, and doing it correctly. I just want to invite everyone to listen to previous council meetings. One of my biggest concerns was the public works directors did go through a process of bidding and selected a company, were put on the agenda, and were pulled twice from the agenda. And after being pulled twice from the agenda, we ended up with a different company that wasn't the one that our public works director selected. So yes, there is a bidding process, but unfortunately, it's not followed consistently. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman.
You want to misinform the public. It's wrong. No, I do not have a conflict of interest with anybody, with either Civil Savi or Gentry Brothers. That is just not correct. And I think you should stop with your lies. You consistently lie with these gentlemen here that are laughing, and you're just nothing but an outright liar, Cruz. You're the one with the issue, and investigate it till, I don't know, as long as you want. Report it to whoever you want, but there is no issues there. You won't find any. You can look as much as you want. You know, there's nothing there, Cruz. And I don't appreciate that you consistently go around everywhere else and making up these lies, and that's wrong, Cruz. That's corruption on your part.
Mayor, can I just say one more thing? And on the dais right now, we heard let's have an investigation. It's fully investigated. Councilmember Bach and I have been asking for an investigation for months. Every single council meeting, we've been asking for an investigation. It hasn't been a secret, and we talk about the issues when we have invoices in front of us. We talk about the issue when we can see the dollar amount, when we can see when contracts got signed. When we speak with evidence, we don't like to make allegations. And because of that, I think it would be in your best interest to allow us to move forward with this investigation, because if there's nothing there, then I don't I have questions.
But these are not allegations. I repeat again, these are not allegations. I, of all people, ask a lot of questions. I never find that I'm too busy to ask staff when I see something on the warrants and demands and want an answer. We have asked for volumes of public records. I mean volumes. The Councilmember Rubio and myself have looked through, highlighted, and asked questions. There are discrepancies, and it goes back, and I'm reiterating, it goes back to the cap of 120,000. A lot of those contracts, a lot of those task orders do not have to come to us because they're under 120,000. Absolutely, but your allegations that we are not looking into or that we are wasting time. I'm tired of hearing that we are wasting. It is our duty and our job, and I said that earlier today in closed session. It is our job and our duty, and maybe I'm naive and I take this too seriously, to justify what is being spent on behalf of the taxpayers in our businesses. I feel that is my job, not to have my head in the sand.
Mayor, may I speak?
Agreed.
See, and this is where the contradiction happens. It's been happening on the dais since we started this council meeting. I just heard Councilmember Monica Garcia said, we rely on staff. We hire competent staff members to do the work, and we need to rely on their expertise. Then someone answer me, why when Dan Wall picked a company through the vetting process, through the bidding process, picked a company, brought it to us once, we said no, brought it to us twice, we said no, and then we ended up with a company that he didn't select and he didn't want. So where is the trust and expertise of our staff there? We can't use it when it's convenient for us. We cannot. Either we use it all the time or we don't. But I still don't have the answer. Why did we go with Dan Wall's recommendation? He vetted the process, he went through the process, he picked the most qualified at the time, according to him the least expensive, and yet they didn't follow his recommendation. So again, you have to know either you're going to pick it or not, but you don't get to pick and choose.
Back in Baldwin Park, I provided each and every one of you copies that I provided to our city council last week on Wednesday. Now, first of all, I want to clear for the record, this is not a political agenda.
This is doing what's right for the taxpayers. Now, I want to address a couple of issues here. In front of you, you have 3 invoices. These are all from infrastructure engineers to the city of South El Monte. On these invoices here, if you read the descriptions, they're from February of 2016, March, and April. Now, on these invoices, they all have the description tied, Gentry Brothers and Ricardo Pacheco. The third page that you have there is a transfer in California, where it shows that Ricardo Pacheco was hired through the city of South El Monte, this is from 2015, as a project administrator. The fourth and fifth page that you have there are his 700 forms, the most recent ones that were date stamped with the city clerk on April 5th of 2016. And as you can see, he does not disclose that he's an employee of City of South El Monte. It shows that he is an employee or the owner of American Solar Electrical Engineering, Consulting, and Construction. Now, if you go back past to the second to the last page, item number 9, this is on the agenda. This is a staff report from our Public Works Director dated January 20th of 2016, where it's recommending staff to vote to give the contract to Gentry Brothers Incorporated in the amount of $1,505,870. Now, or $60, I'm sorry, well, 70. They messed up on the book types. The last page that you'll see here is the minutes. These minutes here, as you can tell, Ricardo Pacheco voted yes on this. So this is what we're fighting here. This is a conflict of interest. If he's working in the city of South El Monte and he's not disclosing that he is an employee of yours and he's overseeing these projects in your city, this is a conflict of interest. Now, can the city manager and the Public Works Director please raise your hand so I know who I'm addressing?
I'm the interim city manager.
Okay, and the Public Works Director? You don't have one? Okay. So, I'm sorry, you're the interim city manager, you're not a council member?
No.
No? Okay. Were you the one responsible for hiring Ricardo Pacheco?
There was a city manager at the time who did all the hiring.
But you were the HR manager at the time?
I oversaw HR, yes.
Okay. Under whose leadership was Ricardo Pacheco at the time of his employment?
I'd have to look at whatever the project was that was happening.
Okay. So, from the description that you have there on the invoices, would you agree that he was overseeing the projects with Gentry Brothers Incorporated?
I'd have to go back and look at the city manager's notes.
Okay. So you're basically not answering the questions to that. I mean, you should be familiar with the invoices, correct?
The way that different projects were organized, there was either the city manager was overseeing it, or at certain times I was overseeing it with a different engineering firm.
But based on the description from the invoices, common sense, would you agree that it looks like Ricardo Pacheco was overseeing these projects for Gentry Brothers Incorporated?
You definitely have Ricardo Pacheco meeting with the city manager as well as infrastructure engineering. So as to what the actual meetings were, I would say that yes, Ricardo Pacheco was part of this.
Thank you very much.